Payne Haas. A few Broncos fans here tonight who'd like to hear what's happening.
Yeah, look, there's a lot of talk about Payne Haas on the weekend because we heard about the news about the Perth Bears, or whatever you're going to call them, look like they're coming into competition in 2027, which means November 1, Payne Haas is a free agent. I was speaking to people in Brisbane today. They're aware of this. They've had conversations internally, and they're going to move to try and make sure that Payne Haas isn't a free agent November 1. There'll be a phone call in the next week or two. They want to sit down with Payne Haas and extend his deal, make him the richest forward in the history of the game, potentially even one of the richest players in the history of the game. We know what Dylan Brown signed with Newcastle, and given his form to start the year and what he's been able to do, I imagine there'll be no shortage of suitors, and the Broncos will be desperate to tie him down.
Will this be another 10-year type deal?
Well, how old is he now,
the
Gal?
Broncos?
I don't think it'll be that long, but I think it'll be quite lucrative because, as we said, if he goes to market November 1 with Perth looking to set up their franchise around the player, Payne Haas will be number one on anyone's list.
Is there any indication from him as to what he may do?
Well, the talk out of the Payne Haas camp all year has been Payne wants to just focus on football, play finals, try and win a comp with Penrith. Slip of the tongue, they've won too many. He wants to just focus on trying to win a comp with the Broncos. So he may not want to entertain what the Broncos have to say, but the Broncos are desperate to make sure they tie him down. And I don't know if this is going to be an illusion of a team coming out of Perth. Is it going to scare clubs into re-signing people? Gus would speak to it probably better. Like, are clubs worried about what a new team will do? Do you want to move quickly to tie people down?
Throughout history, every time there's been a new franchise introduced to the game, it's seen an inflation in player payments, early contract signings to keep other ones you want to keep, or we know that a new club's going to be investing 12 months in advance. So, yeah, it's a delicate situation, but I don't think there's any panic out there at the moment. There's enough for everyone eventually.
We spoke recently on the Super League buy-in from the NRL. Development tonight?
Yeah, obviously we spoke about the NRL looking to potentially buy into the Super League, take control of it. Now, I can tell you, Nick Politis and the Sydney Roosters have had some conversations with the NRL. They like the idea of the NRL buying into it, to the point where they've actually discussed the possibility that if the NRL do get involved, they want to look at potentially buying a team. And the team that I'm hearing at the moment, obviously there's been talk before about London and whether or not they'd be for sale and who would buy them. But I hear the Roosters are eyeing Salford and looking at potentially rebranding them the Manchester Roosters if the NRL does take control of the Super League. So that could have a significant development for the Roosters. We know what they're doing at the moment with LA. They've got a team over there, the LA Roosters. Now, that wouldn't be in the same realm of this. This is a Super League club potentially rebranding them. I know Salford at the moment are struggling financially, and if they rebrand them to the Manchester Roosters...
Is it purely the reason because they're struggling financially, they can buy them cheap, or what? Why are they targeting Salford?
Well, that is the reason. Also, they think that because it's close to Manchester, I think it's the closest team to Manchester. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not too sure on my English geography.
I'm pretty sure it's right there, yeah.
They could play there, rebrand the team, and then you have that pathway for players to potentially come from England straight into the Roosters system. It could be a good move. I think there's a few clubs that have looked at the possibility, Gus. I'm sure
there's been approaches for about 18 months now from English Super League clubs to have sister arrangements or ownership arrangements with NRL clubs. We've been offered 3 or 4, and I imagine other clubs have been the same. So, we're not quite sure what's going to happen with the English Super League
Gus,
at the moment.
Do you think the English Super League will be a better breeding ground for our second-tier players than what we have here at the moment in, say, New South Wales Cup? Like, sending them over to the UK for 6 months, would that be better for their development than what the New South Wales Cup would be?
In some cases, for sure. In some cases, absolutely for sure. It's another option. But, we need to invest in the UK Super League, and that means NRL clubs being active in helping out that competition grow as well.
You're done. Thanks.
Done.
That's your scuttle.
I wanted to hit Gus up about Toby Sexton.
What about him?
I heard that there wasn't an offer on the table, and they were just sort of waiting to see how that went. There were reports last week, Gus, that Toby was close to a deal at the club. You're just holding fire at the moment?
I don't know where those reports came from. Toby is very, very close to our coach. We took Toby and his parents out last October after the end of the season, had a discussion about where we're going and what we're doing. Toby's on a journey of development. He and the coach are very close. He knows exactly where he stands at the moment, and we'll just see how the season progresses. But he's going well. Love Toby. Very popular man at the club.
Right, there you go. Done. See? Scuttlebutt Central.
You don't ask, you don't get the answer.